Hi, everybody, and welcome back to EBnet.Stream. I recently published an article from the Momentum Group Foundation on Mashonisas, and it is a topic that is getting a lot of airtime. And I thought I'd catch up with its author, Salem Nyati, who is a financial education specialist at the Momentum Group Foundation, to share some of the insights into Mashonisas and some of the things that we should be looking for. So welcome to EBnet.Stream, Salem.
Thank you so much, Natalie. It is a pleasure. I'm very pleased to be here with you.
Lovely. Although we are discussing a topic that may not necessarily be so lovely.
Yeah.
So perhaps for those people who perhaps didn't read the article or don't know what I'm talking about when I say the word Mashonisa, let's start there. What exactly are we talking about here?
We're literally talking about somebody or people who are lending money, but they are not authorized to do so. So they're not registered with any of the financial bodies. And what tends to then happen is that because these people are not registered, they don't see the need to comply, with the rules of engagement when it comes to lending money out. So things like interest, for example, that you charge. And I'll give an example, Natalie. When you look at how the interests are kept as far as how much you can charge consumers, for personal loans, we're looking at about 27.75%, somewhere around there. But I mean, these people, because they're not regulated, they charge however much. I mean, we've seen 50%, 70%, even sometimes even 100% interest on the loan, and also the way in which they collect. There's a prescribed way and steps to follow when you collect on unpaid loans. But because they are not registered, they then do things like holding on to your ID document, your bank card, SASSA grant cards, anything that's going to make the one who borrowed go back because I need my ID, I need my bank card, I need my SASSA card to go and earn my SASSA grant. And what then happens is that you then go and when you go and take your SASSA grant card, because maybe it's payday, they go with you. You receive your money and then they take their money. So it's totally very risky, unregulated. And I mean, we've heard situations where it even gets violent because they are not recovering their money. So that's a Mashonisa in a nutshell.
What does the word Mashonisa mean?
Loosely, it means I am draining you down. Like I'm literally plunging you. That's what it means. Plunging you. Yeah, it's a term that was used for loan sharks, basically.
Not a pleasant image. And I think while you were speaking, my mind started going to the average South African and the financial stresses that we know we are all under.
Yeah.
Have we seen, even though we've had two parts where members of retirement funds can now access some of their pension fund money, have we seen an increase in, let's call it Mashonisa lending?
Yes, we definitely have. Remember, a lot of the people that, and I mean, these are stats where a lot of people who have withdrawn from their fund have actually done that to repay debt, right? But I mean, the reason why, Natalie, people go that route, if you look at the number of people who apply for credit, so the applications, quite high, but the declines are equally high, right? The number of new accounts that are registered are not as high or balancing the number of applications. But that money problem is still there. When you go and apply for a loan, it's because you need money. There's an issue. Now, the problem is still there. You've been declined. You then go the unregistered or illegal route because you still need or feel the need to solve your problem. And sometimes it's not even that decline status or that somebody is intentionally going to an illegal lender. It's because they were lured by an advert that said no credit checks needed. We're not going to do an affordability assessment. Therefore, you can come through. And another reason, Natalie, is that people, they lack the financial confidence and the knowledge when it comes to their credit report and their credit scores. So they shy, they're nervous to even check. Some don't even know how to do this. So they think, you know what, I'm probably going to be declined anyway. Let me rather just follow this advert or these people that say, we're going to make it easy for you. And a lot of loan sharks say, we're here to help you. And it is help that you are looking for in the form of money. So that's what makes, this whole thing such a big conundrum, because Mashonistas, what they're actually doing is they're literally selling you an approval at exorbitant rates.
EBnet is proud to bring you top quality content from experts across the financial services industry in South Africa and internationally, all for free. Your support helps us in doing this. All we ask is that you subscribe to our channel by clicking the subscribe button below, share this video with others you think will benefit from it, and give us a thumbs up if you are enjoying the content. That way, you help us help you. Thank you from the team at EBnet. For more great content, please visit www.EBnet.co.za.
Yeah, it's frightening. I didn't realize that Mashonistas would advertise. I mean, is it that publicly distributed or made available?
It's the norm. It is the norm. Natalie, you'll see it there on the street light saying, need a loan, no credit checks, no affordability, call this number. But I mean, also, even in the workplace, you'll be very surprised how just the normal employee, Salem, saying, you know what, I actually lend out money. So if you need money, come talk to me. And, she's known that, okay, if you need money, there she is. Oh, but just know that she charges 50% interest and that's it. And maybe the labeling is not there, but the practice is there. So they know that they're down the street, that corner house there, that's where you can borrow money. Sometimes they advertise, sometimes they don't. It's a known thing. It's such a norm.
Sure, you really are shocking me today, and exposing me. I mean, I guess I've always known about loan sharks and these kind of unsavory practices, but to know that it is that close and that available,
Yeah.
and really in an environment where people are struggling financially, it is a little bit shocking to me. So for somebody, let's imagine somebody's listening to this conversation and they're wanting to loan money. What would your kind of 3 pieces of advice be?
Very important that they're registered, right? Registration is an easy way of identifying that you are doing it at the right place. You'll see that by that big NCR sign. It's orange. NCR, it stands for National Credit Regulator. Some places, if you're physically going there, you'll see an NCR CP number. So National Credit Regulator, Credit Provider. That's what that CP stands for. And then there would be a number. You can even phone the National Credit Regulator and ask, is this company registered with you guys? Because sometimes you see it online and you want to sort of apply online. So the registration part is very important, because that's how you know that this lender is safe for me, because safe is the word, really, Natalie. If you think about it, safe, your money is safe, your life is also safe, because the way in which, but I also want you to look at it this way. Think about it. Because the loan shark is not registered, they also don't have a way to report you when you don't pay their money back.
Good point.
They also don't have a way to report you and find ways when you pay late.
Mm.
So what do? They then find other means of collection, other means of ensuring. We get letters, we get this and that. Credit providers go to the credit bureau, they report you, as a late payer. Those are the repercussions. They don't go to the credit bureaus, so they come straight to you with creative ways of recovering their monies.
Mm-hmm. In terms of your opinion, what do you think an average interest rate is on debt that an individual should be paying? Because I think we talk about seeing the big orange NCR letters, or the CP and the, et cetera, and the kind of formal stuff. But if I compare it, I mean, you have thrown out some numbers already in our conversation, but if I compare it to a loan that I could get from my bank, versus what these people are charging, that must be a kind of a huge red flag. So let's talk the financial realities. What are those numbers?
It's a difficult one to say, Natalie, because a whole lot of intelligence goes into these numbers. And remember also, when somebody is giving you money, there's no guarantee that they're going to get it back. So there must be some kind of way in which, they try to recover at least that capital amount very quickly through interest, right? But I mean, when we look at the discrepancies between what the banks, the registered lenders charge versus the matronisas, I don't think consumers are really looking at it from a numbers point of view more than they are looking at it from a solution to my immediate problem point of view. So that solution, it's almost like saying no solution is expensive. The fact that it's bringing a solution and I need relief now. I think that's another problem that we have as South Africans. Sometimes we don't look at our issue and package it correctly. Yes, it's a problem, but does it need to be solved now? Like, is it urgent? It's important, yes, but is it urgent? Like, do you have to solve it now? Can't you do other things with your own finances and then eventually get to the issue? We want things and we want them now. And that's why we even get into debt, unfortunately, Natalie, because we want stuff and we want them now.
True. So there is a consumerism kind of behind it, and things that people want that they can't afford. And so you're 100% right when you say identify your needs versus your wants, and focus on the things that matter and will help you. So interest is the one aspect of kind of debt payment, and then the term of the loan is the other. If I were to walk down the street to the house you mentioned earlier, and take some money or borrow some money, are the terms in terms of how long I need to take to pay this back, is that negotiable? Or does the person say to me, Natalie, this has to be repaid by this date?
So always remember the word expensive and the fact that they sell you everything. So they are willing to sell you a longer term. So you can have an agreement. Let's say you're borrowing 3,000 rands and the agreed money that you're going to pay back the following month is 4,500 rands. Remember, now you've already dug a 3,000 rands hole. Now you need to fill up a 4.5 hole, right? So now comes the time where you need to pay back the 4.5. You say, look, I'm unable to pay the 4.5. I know we agreed. The loan shark will say, no problem. How much can you pay? I can pay 3,000. Oh, no, that's great. That 1.5, we're then going to double it. So next month, you now owe me 3,000 rands on that outstanding 1.5. So it then becomes that spiral.
Okay.
You understand what I mean? So that negotiation is also at a price. Or you can meet somebody who says, oh no, I want my money and I want it now. We agreed on it now. Therefore, I'm taking your TV. I'm taking your fridge, or whatever it is that they feel equals the value of what you owe. It is entirely up to the loan shark on the terms and conditions. And who's going to hold them accountable? You understand what I mean? So that's the risky part again. They can sell you those terms, or they can be hostile and say, no, this is what I want. And that's that.
Salem, I normally say it's been a pleasure, this conversation, but today's has been eye-opening. And I think as South Africans are struggling financially, and we're in this kind of two-pot world when it comes to retirement funds, I know the industry is very quick to say, don't take a withdrawal from your savings pot. But when you compare it to this type of access to finance, suddenly the withdrawal from your savings pot is potentially the more responsible thing to do.
In fact, Natalie, if we could, as South Africans, just sit and really think of options, and I'll give you this. The numbers say the working credit active consumer in South Africa spends or uses 70% of their salary to repay debt. Now, there is something, and I'm trying to offer a possible solution. There is something called a payment holiday or a payment break, where you can go to the credit providers, be it your credit card, your personal loan, your car finance, whatever it is. You can go to all of them and ask for a payment break for 3 months. Now you're getting 70% of your income back for 3 months. You regroup, you do whatever you need, you even start your emergency fund, whatever that emergency is at that moment. But you've got to have a plan before you go this route. Credit providers are willing to do this for consumers. In fact, some of them even bring it up themselves during the December and January period to say, we can offer you this payment break, right? And also, it does not affect your credit report negatively.
Wow.
So this is an option where consumers can say, for 3 months, this is the route I'm going to take. I'm pausing my installments. I sort out whatever I need, whether it's school fees because your child is going to college and that needs cash, or whatever it is that needs the cash that you were going to borrow. You pause your installments, you use that money wisely, and then you bounce back again, and your life is still the same. You did not take out any new debt.
Great advice. Thank you, Salem. I really appreciate the time you've taken to chat with me today. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me.